Hello, Dale the librarian here. How you doing? So we're here at the Marriott Library homepage, but I wanted to show you how to search for things like books, especially in our Usearch tab, the library catalog, which is this tab right here. If you haven't on YouTube, go full screen and it's a lot easier to see the links as everything goes spinning by. The library catalog, when you do a search, I'm just going to do a search for Rodeo, will dump you into a variety of things. So how you check those out, pardon the pun, is if you go over here to resource type, and if you click on more options, these are all associated with the keyword or keywords that you typed in. So for example, I typed in rodeo, and there's a loose association of things, articles, images, reviews, and so on. If you go down to books, there's much fewer, obviously, because articles are easier to produce than a whole book. So don't be put off by that. What I would encourage you to do is go through the articles and see if there's something that you discover that works out very well. But I'm going to show you databases in my next vid, so let's focus on books at this point. There's also databases that have newspaper articles that I'm going to show you as well. So we just want to narrow down to books if we can. We'll just include books. What I want to caution you on is that sometimes, depending on the database that you go into, it's going to give you a results by some relevance rating, and I would immediately just go to date newest, especially on the topic that you're looking at. It's not going to work out very well if you find something that's really old before it became on like a social or national consciousness. What you will get here is the title of both ebooks and books that happen here in print. And oftentimes there's like a copy of both, electronic and in print. If you run stuck with any of those, let me know and I can help you track that down. That shouldn't be a barrier to you getting the information you need. But let me show you how to go through some of these. You can look at exclusively full text online, or if you're in the library and you just want to see those that are here in the library, so you can just walk out there and see the table of contents. That's how you would do that. Some of these, it's obvious what topic they're on. There's a famous prison rodeo that there's been books. I think there's a movie on that as well. How you get to the subjects of those is if you go down on the side here, again, it's another, these are all called facets. If you go down and look at these subjects facets, you might see something about animal welfare or something like that. It seems likely that you won't, and you might have to go in and look at the table of contents for specific books. These subjects have been assigned by librarians and sometimes authors of the books. How you would get around that, let's see if I can find one that's just about, so there's circus clowns, we had prison clowns. Let's see if I can find one where we could look at the table of contents. Okay, so here, this looks like a collection of essays. And it's an online book, which is great, so I can show you what that looks like as well. There's a View It button and a Details button. The details, this is oftentimes the table of contents of the book, so you don't even have to go get the book. You can see what they're talking about. It looks like this is a lot of literature, maybe interesting things. You might find something in here where you're looking for a quote from first-person perspective. That might work out very well. I don't think this is going to be talking about policy analysis or rhetoric per se, but you might have to do the analysis. How you would see an ebook, though, is you click on the View It, and you can see what particular vendor is providing the book, but you could also click on the title and you'll get the same effect. Ebook vendors are providing things in different ways. My rule of thumb is to just click like mad until you get to the actual book itself. If you run stuck, don't spend more than 30 seconds on wending your way through one of these resources. But again, the thing that you would like to search for when you want to make some time in your research is go through the table of contents and look for those things. And in this case, if you find something, since it's an ebook, you can just click on it and it will miraculously sometimes dump you right into that chapter. Your results may vary. Let me know if you run stuck. ebooks are still kind of this new licensing thing it's all very exciting, and sometimes it doesn't work. He said optimistically. So let me go back. Another way that I want to encourage you to discover books in our catalog, or maybe it's something that we can get through on loan from another library, if you go to something called Google Books. Google Books represents a search engine for a lot of the books that are in libraries today. There was a moment a few years ago where Google digitized a lot of books. Historic and new ones are now provided. You don't have full text access because of copyright law, so consider this kind of like a search engine where you might get the title of a book that you're interested in. So I'm going to do animal welfare, and I'm going to do, I guess I don't need the word and I'll do rodeo. When I put it in quotes like this, it's going to look for this as a single keyword phrase instead of having animal here and welfare there. But this is looking in books. So there's some animal, oh, this gives me some idea. You could look up the title of any of these books in our library catalog, that Usearch. But say, for example, this one worked out really well, where they were talking about rodeos and you found a quote. And you can actually see in context your search terms in the actual book itself. You run into trouble when you want to look at more than 10% of a book. That's where we run afoul of copyright law. But say, for example, this book was just perfect. What you would do is copy the title, and you would go back to our library catalog, and you can start a new search by clicking on the title if you want to. And then, again, you're looking for it in quotes, animal welfare and human values. And you can see if we have that book. And we do. And it's an ebook. So you could actually look at that book. So Google Books is a great full-text search engine that you could go back and see if we actually have that book. And I encourage you to try all sorts of different keywords and then looking in books. That's one way of doing it. I'm going to make another video on how to search some of our databases, but this one was worthwhile making a video for instead of trying to type this whole thing out. That would have been a nightmare. Good luck, and I will talk to you soon.